What is good, homies? This is Chris from Small Hat Crew, joined today by only Small Hat Manny.
Hello.
Yeah, when we do more experimental videos, it tends to just be the two of us. But this is something very different, something I'm very excited to be doing today because I think it's kind of PogChamp. So what we're gonna be doing here today is I have come up with a bunch of support for Garp. Garp, ass leader. I see people trying to. Apparently, Japan's trying to cook on him in OPO8. Did you see that?
No, I did not see that. That's crazy.
Yeah, they're trying to cook on him, but
why? So like, what from your brief study made you kind of go on this wagon?
Well, I just kept thinking about like I was thinking about like a card that like Garp could use, and then I was bored enough, so then I created the card, and then I was like, huh, and then I created more, and then I was like, all right, I want to do something with this, so that brings us to where we currently are. Viewers back home, if you have a leader that you would like to see us Theorycraft support for and stuff like that, you could suggest that leader down below in the comment section.
Right below.
Yeah, if you like this idea or this style of video, drop a like on the video so that I know these are worth the effort of creating and thinking and everything for, because these aren't really ones that you can just do in like a day. You know, a lot of thought has to go into. Like I redesigned so many of these cards so many times because some of them were just broken. Some of them are just fucking broken. Because I didn't want to do the trap that a lot of people like fall into, where it's like you print support for you know like the whole like the stereotype of like fan made support just being broken as all fuck.
Yeah.
I was trying to avoid that. So there is that. But so I'm gonna go ahead and just to ease you into it, I'm gonna start with our first card. So the first card I have created for Garp, just to go ahead, and do you want to start with the characters or do you want to start with the events? What do you want to do?
We could start with the characters.
Start with the characters? Okay. So I'm gonna start this off very simple. We have 1 cost, 1k, 1000 counter, a searcher. We have Dawn ×1, activate main. You may rest this card, look at the top 5 cards from top of your deck, reel up to 1 Navy type card and add it to your hand, then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. Do you see what I did here?
Yeah. Yes, you're putting a Navy package in Garp. Okay.
So I've created. So what I'm doing with Garp is this is a Navy engine. It is red. That way, black can't abuse it. And also, I'm not sure if you notice anything special or unique about her effect compared to other searchers.
Not that I could think of the top of my head.
So she's not an on-play searcher.
She's activate main. So you play around the Blackbeard.
Yep, she's a tap searcher, but more than just that, most tap searchers are pay 1 Dawn, she's attach 1 Dawn.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so you can attach the Dawn to her, and then Garp can use his leader ability to minus something by 1. So she's a searcher that benefits Garp. So this is the first thing you see where like I'm leaning heavier into his leader ability of him being able to minus cost using his new support.
Gotcha.
And I'm making his red support play around the red Navy cards. The identity I'm giving them is they care a lot about Dawn. So I'm gonna show you another card. Here's the second card. I gave Garp 1 brand new 2k. It's nothing crazy. It's just 1000 power, 2k, activate main once per turn, give up to 1 rested Dawn card to your leader or one of your characters. So this is just like starter deck Nami.
Okay.
But as a 2k, right?
All right. I respect it.
Nothing too crazy there. So here's where we start getting interesting with our red Navy support. So here we have 4 cost, 5k, 1000 counter, Kuzan. On play, up to 2 of your opponent's attached Dawn cards do not detach until the start of your next turn.
Yeah.
Like yeah. So it's kind of like the Green Bonnie, in a sense, where like say you drop him on 4. So say like you're playing against Anel, you go second, right? Your Anel does nothing turn 1, he passes to you. You take your turn 2, you play like your Hina, and then you like, I don't know, you tap it, you search your card. Then they take the 3 Dawn turn and they put all 3 Dawn on Anel and swing at you for 8k, right?
Yeah.
On your 4 Dawn turn, you'd play the Kuzan, and then you could lock 2 of the Dawn onto Anel. So now on his next turn, he has 2 less Dawn to play with. He doesn't lose the Dawn, he can still swing 7k with it. You know, but that's 2 Dawn that isn't just free for him to spill. Like he's supposed to go on his 5 Dawn turn, he only has 3 Dawn to play with. So
no, granted, and then granted, then you can do the same thing like when he, like let's say he was on 8 and then you do it so that on his 10 Dawn turn he can only go to 8. So then that means he can't Ace and he can't Yamato.
Yes. Yeah. So the way I'm doing the support for Garp is I'm giving the opponent like there is counterplay to it, because like but pretty much, so you know how like Bonnie makes your opponent have to do their attack order weird and everything?
Yeah.
Because Garp's whole leader ability is he's attaching Dawn to himself, I've kind of made it so that I want him to lean very heavily into attaching Dawn, and I want it to be like he's attaching Dawn to himself, but also he's making your opponent have to attach Dawn to themselves in weird ways too.
This is my only gripe with Kuzan. So let's say my opponent has a 5k character and he gave it 2 Dawn, right?
Yes.
And I choose to, and that's the only Dawn that he attached.
Yeah.
And I want to play Kuzan. If I freeze it, I cannot kill that character. Now that character is just going to come at me again next turn for 7k.
Yes. So I think it's more a matter of you're having to pick and choose. Where like, for example, so like remember the now example, he's on 3 Dawn, and then you play Kuzan and you stick to that dude 2 Dawn to him, right? So I think when you play the Kuzan, you're asking yourself, would I rather take another 7k swing, or would I rather he play Gadatsu? So if you would rather just take 7k, then you play the Kuzan. Now you don't have to do it Gadatsu a turn. You took an entire turn of their curve from them, because again they don't have a 3 Dawn play already. So next turn they're on 3 Dawn again basically. So they don't have they don't have a play. So now they go, all right, I guess I just load up leader to 10k and swing this turn. So it kind of takes a turn in that sense. Sure, you're probably taking a life, but I think you don't play the Kuzan unless unless that is the better outcome, robbing them of curve. Because if you're, if that is a problem, then you'd probably just keep it in hand as counter instead. Okay. But that's the theory behind it. That's the thought process.
You're right. And I guess what happened is that your opponent can't go the extra mile on. So like, let's say they go first, right?
Right.
They drop their searcher. On the next turn, they can't just be like, all right, well, I don't have anything to play per se right now, so I'm just gonna do a 5k with searcher, then 5k with leader to try to get 2 cards out.
Yeah.
Because if they do put it on the, well, I guess at that point it's kind of like a skill check. Because if they put it on on like the searcher, they put 2 on the searcher.
Yeah.
Well, 3 on the searcher to then get the extra swing. You're like, all right, Kuzan, the Dawn on the searcher stays there.
Yeah.
So now it's like you lost your play, and now your searcher is gonna be vulnerable again, and it's only going to be two 5ks. Or a 5k and a 7k.
One thing I also do like about it is that because I feel like it's kind of like the Bonnie. It's like the Bonnie, the Magellan thing, where you can basically rob your opponent of Dawn for a turn, but you have the potential to rob them of 2 instead of 1, which I think is kind of big. And also, I think it's done in the fairest way possible. Like, because it can hit 2, the trade-off is that Magellan robs them of the Dawn. Bonnie also robs them of the Dawn. With Kuzan, he says, you still have the 2 Dawn. You could still hit me with it if you want to. But that is the trade-off for you losing an entire turn of Dawn. Every turn you ramp to Kuzan, basically, he's saying you've lost a turn of that. Yeah. I also do like because like you said, the skill check, your opponent, because they know Kuzan exists, it puts them in positions where there'll be turns where it's like say you're playing into Gecko Moria, and say you're about to play into Gecko and he's on his 7 Dawn turn, and next turn he goes on 9. It's all right, Gecko. If you want to 8-drop Gecko Moria, next turn you cannot use your leader ability this turn, because if you do your leader ability this turn, I'm going to lock that Dawn in place. It robs you of an 8-drop Gecko turn. It also is like with a bunch of other characters, you have your big 8 Dawn or 10 Dawn play coming up or whatever. With the again, and now he wants to play his ace. He pretty much says, and now you are only coming at me for the value of your characters. You can only swing 5. If you have a 6k, you can only swing 6k. You can't go magic numbers into me this turn and play ace next turn. You have to pick or choose. So that's what I meant by I kind of like how Bonnie makes your opponent play weird with their attack order. Garp, I want his identity to be he makes your opponent have to play very awkwardly with their Dawn, how they allocate it and all that. And I want him to rule that whole sphere. I want that to be his dynamic. He dominates and Dawn attach it, because again, it's hockey is how I see it, and nobody should be better at utilizing hockey than the Garp man himself. And notice, so I've given him kind of an even curve, because like the Hina is a 2 Dawn searcher. It's pay 1 and then attach 1. So that's 2. Kuzan's your 4 Dawn turn. This is your 6 Dawn turn. The next card is 4 cost, 6k power, Sakazuki, no counter. On play, if your leader card has at least 2 Dawn cards attached to it, K up to 1 character with a cost of 2 or less. So, in Garp, he's a 4 that pops a 4, right?
True.
And I've also made it so that he's a 4 cost body, right? So he is like he's a Gecko Moria target, because Garp doesn't really have any good Gecko targets. Garp can't really play Lucci, but this would be the replacement for that. It'd pop 1 instead of 2, but yeah. Also, I've kind of leader locked him in a sense where, so 1, because he's red, black can't take advantage of the popping effect. That's the cost, 2 or less. Also, he demands that the 2 Dawn goes on your leader. So in Garp, that's great. In every other leader, it just means you're getting a 7k swing, so you can't really allocate Dawn however you want. But like in Garp just doesn't care about that. Garp leans into this. So that's what I've done with Sakazuki. But I will now show you the next card. So here's what you do with your 8 Dawn turn. So now this is where we start dealing with what I was talking about, how I see Dawn as like hockey. 7. Yeah, so we have Borsalino, 7 cost, 8k, no counter, Dawn times 1. Characters you control that have a Dawn card attached to them cannot be KO'd by leaders or characters that have less than 2 Dawn cards attached to them. So,
spicy.
So like, because he's a Logia, right? Your opponent has to they have to hockey up, right? So that they can actually interact with him. And
Yup.
Yeah.
You're right. I can't think of a better way to explain it besides, like, you know, I'm like just like Power Rangers, and they're like, "All right, guys, let's hockey up." Yeah,
bro. Yeah. And so one thing also, because when I was talking to Garen about it, one thing that he didn't catch is that this also gives him immunity to like, or not just him. It's because this is a global effect. Like all your characters that have a Dawn attached to them can't be KO'd. So this is KO'd by combat, KO'd by card effects. It also basically gives Garp an immunity to like red on play effects, because you can't put Dawn on a character that you just played, right? So like if you want to Lucci him and there's Dawn on him, you can't do it. So
gotcha.
Yeah, it gives you on play protection, which is I think is pretty cool. Also it makes it so that like if your opponent, like, so say you have a bunch of characters turned sideways, if you just like attach a Dawn to them, your opponent can't just swing their character sideways into it. You're like, even if you're like let's say that you had let's say you're like, again, you're playing against Nell and they have like a Yamato and you have like a sideways 5k body. Your opponent can't just go Yamato into it. They have to spend a Dawn. They have to attach a Dawn to the Yamato. They have to attach 2 Dawn to the Yamato even, and then swing at your 5k body. So they have to swing 11k just to kill a 5k. Like, that's kind of like, I'm making it so now Garp is basically forcing your opponent to spend their Dawn in ways that are suboptimal that he probably wouldn't want to, so that he can actually compete with your board. Like,
it makes sense to me. Yeah, I see it. I see the lines.
Yeah,
I see the fun games you're playing.
Yeah, bro, I think it makes hockey, because also I made it so that like, because if you put 1 Dawn on all your characters, your opponent has to attach 2 Dawn. They have to overpower, they have to have more hockey than you have hockey, right? Their hockey has to overpower yours. So,
and nobody has more hockey than Garp.
Of course not. Actually, that's true. That's unintentional. And now here's the big boss monster. So here's where things could probably start to get a little controversial. So I've revised this next card multiple different times. The first iteration was broken. Here's the second. Now there is counterplay here, but here we go. So we have 9 costs, 9k, no counter, Garp on play or Dawn times 2 when attacking. KO up to one of your opponent's characters that has 1 or less Dawn cards attached to it. So basically he comes out and he just nukes something. He comes out and he is popping something, kind of like how Stussy just pops indiscriminately. He does the same thing. But the counterplay here is like, you're playing it N2 and an L, right? And they play like a Katakuri or something. theoretically, they could put 2 Dawn on the Katakuri to protect it from getting popped. There is counterplay, whereas they can't do something like if they play like a 10-drop ace and they heal off of it and they rush you down. That ace, because it used all 10 of their Dawn, he's getting popped by Garp. You can't protect your 10-drop. You can't protect like 9 drops and 10 drops. The turn that you play them. Like, now also like Garp. He is a pop. Again, there is counterplay. You can hockey up your characters to protect them from getting KO'd by Garp, but pretty much it means like Garp's probably taking something 90% of the time. He's probably taking a body with him, and then it links back into the when attacking, kind of like with Ninebeard, 2 Dawn when attacking. Yeah, and also it's a 2 Dawn effect, so he pops characters that have 1 or less Dawn, because you know they have to match him in hockey to not get KO'd by him. So the first iteration of this card was, instead of on play, it was rush and Dawn times 2 in attacking. So he would just come out, rush, and pop something. But for the sake of not being broken, I've taken his rush from him. I've given him on play and when attacking. And yeah, how do you feel about this effect, this style of KO?
Yeah, it's fine.
I think
it's
so
fine.
too. Yeah,
I think it's fine. That's good because if this card existed, you know. Right. Then it's like, okay, I have to respect that 9-drop Garp is coming. I have to give either I'm just going big with all my characters.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna make them give each of them 2 and then play whatever I have left.
Yeah, because that's kind of the way I look at it too. It's like, because like say you drop him on curve, you drop him in your 9 Dawn turn, your opponent. So that means he's a 9. If dropped on curve, he's a 9 that could pop at 8. I kind of look at it as like Katakuri's already an 8. That can deal with the 8, and he doesn't even give you counterplay. So this is Garp is a 9. He costs more. He answers an 8 as well. He lets the opponent counterplay, and also like if you go into matchups where like now again, he pretty much says like he rewards the opponent for playing correctly, because it's like your opponent can like 8-drop Kid, for example. They can play 8-drop Kid on their 10 Dawn turn. They could play Kid, attach the 2 Dawn to him, and like Garp isn't going to answer the Kid. Whereas if they try to do like a 9 cost Zoro, Zoro's going to get popped because you can't attach 2 Dawn to Zoro to protect it. Because I know when I was talking to Garen about Garp initially, so Garen took issue with it because he said like a 9 that answers a ton. But so the way I'm looking at it is,
but you're on 9. They don't have a 10, so
exactly.
you would have to hold your 9 turn and let them go off.
That's exactly how I agreed. I agree with that 100%, because that was kind of what I was saying. And also in addition to that, it was that your opponent, like, so one, you have to hold Garp an entire turn to even deal with the 10, right? The only color that's going to get around that would be like purple. Purple would be the only color that have a 10 before you have your 9, right? If everything's going well for them. But also in addition to that, because if you're dropping him on your 10 Dawn turn, basically he's a 10 drop at that point. I think a 10 that answers a 10 is fair. I think that's perfectly fine, you know?
Shank does it.
Yeah, that's what I mean sometimes. Because he pops 10k power. But yeah, but that's why I think Shanks is ass. I think Shanks should have popped a 12. I think that was bad design with the Shanks. I think a 10 drop should be able to answer a 10 drop. Just inherently. I don't see any
because it's just fair.
That's fair.
You spent your turn to do your thing. I spent my turn to deal with it. Now you get another turn.
Yeah, because also Stussy can do that, and she's a 9 drop. Like,
yeah, because you can literally go. All right, play Stussy. I pop my searcher. Pop that.
Yeah, and then also in addition, I think like a lot of 10 drops that even see play, they do something the turn they come out. So if Garp pops them, they just lose the body, and you leave behind a body. And it's not like he's a massive body. He's a 9k. I made him 9/9 intentionally for that reason. So. Yeah, that was
I think you're fine.
I think so too. I think, okay. It can pop anything if your opponent doesn't counterplay and attach the necessary Dawn to protect it. Also, one of the reasons I did it like this too is because I wanted playing against Garp, I wanted it to pay homage back to like OP01. Whenever you played into red, you'd have to Dawn your characters up before swinging. Because remember the jet pistol trigger back then? Yeah, so that was one of the identities I felt like Red kind of had back then that I would like to bring back to the forefront. You can play around and you can dodge Red's destruction if you do Dawn up correctly. Yeah, so this is kind of the character package I've given him. I've given him something for every turn, so he has a 2 Dawn play, a 4 Dawn play with the Kuzan, a 6 Dawn play with the Sakazuki, 8 Dawn play with the Borsalino, and then on his 10 Dawn turn, he can use his 9 drop Garp. I didn't give him a 10 drop boss monster though, because there is I did give him a 1 cost counter event I'd like him to be able to play. So now I'll start giving you his events. Okay. So the first event I've given him is Ice Ball. All right, we have 2 Dawn. Oh, you said 1 second?
No. What does that do?
Okay, so we have
go for it. Yeah.
Okay. Give up to one of your opponent's characters -3 cost during this turn. Then give up the 2 rested Dawn cards to your leader or one of your characters. So, this is a -3 effect. In Garp, realistically, it's a -5 because the 2 you attach will be another -2. So it's kind of this is Garp's Ice Age. It's his Ice Age. But it also pumps your characters or leader 2k.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, because remember Garp's leader ability, it does have a condition on it. Garp can only minus a 7 cost or lower character. So this pretty much says I'm going to take a 10 cost character, lower it to 7, and then Garp can then minus it further with his leader ability. So that's what we've done here. Also, it just minuses something by 3, and then if you don't need, to lower another 2, you can just put the 2 Dawn on like a character or something to swing with it or something. So,
okay.
That's what I've done with that. Next, so I've given Garp, here we go. My power outclasses yours. Look at that art, Manny. Look at that art.
Art? What? You haven't sent me anything.
What do you mean? You don't see it?
Where would I see this? Oh, on the.
I've been giving you this whole time.
No, you haven't.
Yeah, I have. Direct messages manifest.
Oh shit, you have. You're all powerful.
What the fuck? You haven't seen any? Oh my god, what? 2 Dawn main. Give up to 2 rested Dawn cards to your leader or one of your characters. So Garp would minus something by 2. Then KO up to 1 character with a cost of 0. So this is Garp's Town Blaze. But it doesn't pump 3k because pumping 3k is fucking stupid. I balance it. So it's balanced. It pumps less, but in addition to pumping less, it also KOs instead of bottom decking. So it's weaker all around.
But in reality, if you're giving it to leader, you're popping a what? A 1 or a 2?
You're popping a 2.
You're popping a 2. If you're giving it to your leader, you're popping a 2. So in reality, you could literally give him 2 naturally. Then play this, get to 4 or 3, whatever the blocker is. Pop the blocker and then swing.
Yes. This is also like Ice Ball. It's his Ice Age. It's Kuzan, and then this is this is the Sakazuki card. Because if you notice, I've given all 3 admirals a character, and now I've given all 3 admirals an event as well. The final event will be coming up. So the final card is Yata no Kagami. Yes. Yep. Counter event. Up to one of your leaders or character cards gains 2,000 power during this battle. Then, if that card has at least 2 Dawn cards attached to it, it gains an additional 2,000 power. So, it's kind of making it so that like your 2 Dawn attached to your character also serves a purpose on the opponent's turn. Yeah. So this is his Radical Beam. Except it can be live earlier than Radical Beam, but also there will be situations where like maybe it's weaker than Radical Beam.
So this is the way I see it. It's live more active is live more often than Radical Beam. So it means that let's say in early turns, like let's say your hand's bad, it's just hot doo-doo water.
Yeah.
You have this. You have a defensive piece that essentially you go. So like let's say you're at 4 Dawn, because I think you're on you're kind of on an even curve. I don't know, because you have 2 1s, 2 4s, and then a 7 and 9. I don't know if you're on an even curve or an odd curve. I would assume you're on an even curve because your good black cards are on evens.
Well, in addition to that, so remember your Hina cost 1, and then she's Dawn times 1, so she does cost 2. Kuzan is a 4 cost character, And then Sakazuki's a 4-cost character that wants you to have 2 Dawn attached, so that's 6. And
Yeah,
then
so
Borsalino's a 7 that uses 1, so that's 8.
all right, yeah. So you're on even. So that means like, let's say you go second. Your first turn, hot doo-doo water. Your second turn, you drew into hot doo-doo water. You can at least do an 8k swing and then leave this open.
Yes. You know.
So at least go ahead.
Oh no, go for it. My bad.
No. Oh, that's pretty much it. It's just the fact that it's like it can be used as early as your opponent's. Your opponent's like, like on my second swing. If you really need to defend yourself in that manner, you could do it. And then even for late game where it's like, oh, I just have this because I could always fulfill this condition with my eyes closed.
Yeah. So also, so this card went through multiple different iterations. So the first iteration was So the first was gain 2,000, then for every Dawn attached to your character, gain an additional 1,000. Which I didn't really have a problem with, but also part of me was like, is this broken? Because like, if you attach 9 Dawn to Garp, and then you keep one open for this, your opponent swings at you with like a 12k, you just counter up to 14k all of a sudden. Like, you wouldn't even counter up to 14k. You'd counter up to 16 because you gain 2k and you'd gain additional 9k, which is probably, I don't know. It seems stupid.
I think it's fine. I think it's fine because this is the thing. For this to work, you're giving up 3 Dawn. 2 to give to specifically your leader. So yeah, you're doing a 7k swing, but to do this, that's 3 Dawn. That means you're capping your turn at 7 Dawn. That means the best you can do is damn, like you can't even do the Borsalino. You can't do the Borsalino. Okay, he's 7 + 1.
Yeah.
And then the rest of your top end is kind of just done. And then like, let's say even if you played Gecko, I don't know if you played Gecko in your list. I just assume every card that has a black, like coloring just plays Gecko. But you can't do Gecko because you're 1 short now.
Right.
So that's just something to consider. I don't think the card's broken because it's to set this up, you lose your top end. Yeah,
I think as it is right now, it's a perfectly balanced card. Because it was I think it was just that previous iteration before I nerfed it, before I redesigned it.
Yeah. I think if they make a navy non-black, like because we don't have a red navy with a different color besides black, which would incentivize you to want to play Gecko.
Yeah. Because I
think. Go ahead.
Because I was trying to give him good Gecko targets also. It's why like this for the Sakazuki is supposed to replace Lucci. And then also, well, that's honestly kind of it. Also the 2-cost event was supposed to be so that he has like on a 10 Dawn turn, he could play a Gecko, lower something, and then he could like he could play like a Hina Helmepo or whatever, and then he could use this card to pop with his last 2 Dawn.
Yeah. Now, what I think would actually be kind of cracked, but like obviously you're playing these navy cards, so it wouldn't work. But like if you had a card kind of like the 1-drop Nami that gives Dawn once per turn.
Well, remember that's the 2K, the Coby.
Yeah, but you're giving up a 2K to do that. I don't know. Like that's the thing, bro. Like Nami for one, like dropping a 1K is alright, Dropping a 2K that's just gonna get popped out his asshole. Like it's a different kind of bad. You feel me?
I feel like so my rationale for it is it's a 2K, but also if you ever do find yourself in a position where you do value, like maybe you're playing into green or whatever, you're playing into a matchup where it's gonna stick. It's like, okay, I'll play it.
Oh, actually, I solved it already.
What?
I lied. You drop it as a 2K, right? You counter with it. You do your Gecko turn first, so you're at 10. You do Gecko. You bring out the Sakazuki and the Coby. And you can either put the Sakazuki as active or the Coby as active, however you feel you're more defensive.
Right.
Then you just use the Coby to throw it underneath. Then you give the one more the Garp, and then from there you're set up with the Gecko and the Yata no Kagami. You just got to bring the Coby as one of your targets.
Yeah. Also, oh yeah, that is true. Also, but also made it so that like Coby he's a universal. Like he's like in fact he's obviously been made for Garp, but also like other red leaders can just get value out of this if they really want to. They could just run a Dawn starter, a starter Nami that's also a 2K.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've also made it so that like this is a package that for the most part, like because it pops based on cost instead of power, where like red probably wouldn't use it because red wouldn't be able to benefit off of it. But also black wouldn't be able to abuse it. But also what this does is it makes it so that dual red leaders all of a sudden
dual red leaders? You mean mono red leaders?
No, dual red leaders. Like leaders that have 2 colors, but red is one of them.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
They have something worth playing from red now. Because it's like red on its own can never abuse it. Black literally cannot abuse it. But like, for example, like this like ice ball, all of a sudden, like if you're like a blue-red leader, like your Vivi or whatever, you finally have a way to like ice ball. You could lower something by 3 with ice ball, and then you could bottom deck it with your blue cards. You know
What though? You could also put like a 10 cost Sengoku.
That does.
Let me see. You could put a 10 cost a 10 cost Sengoku, because I'm trying to think, because his whole thing is that he becomes this giant golden Buddha.
Right.
I think what would be cool is that on play when attacking, so that way Blackbeard players could quote unquote have counterplay for the first reaction to him. Get 5 rested Dawn and give 1 to each character. Give 1 to each character. As many as possible, but only 1. So that means like if you have 2 characters and you play him, you can only give 2 Dawn out. So that way the Blackbeard players could have some counterplay to it. So like, I have Blackbeard, but you can still do it. So he'll give 1 to everything, and then he said, and then his effect is, if you did give all 5 Dawn out, if you did give all 5 Dawn out, pop a 5. Pop a 5 or less.
I do like that. I'm actually a very big fan of that now that I think about it. Yeah.
So obviously you play them, and then you could try to build your board next turn. But if you're good enough and you're able to hold a whole board of 4 or more,
yeah,
you're rewarded for it.
I like that a lot. I'm actually a very, very big fan of that. I do know, because also like when I was doing the support thing, because there's like the very obvious like ways you can make Garp better, like so there's like you could errata a lot of cards that already currently exist. But I kind of wanted to tackle it from the stance of like, this is the hand we were dealt, this is what Garp is. Because realistically, you could just like take Garp's leader ability, take the 7 cost condition off of it, make it so you can lower anything, then make him a lot better. But I wanted to, I like to say, I want to tackle it from the perspective of these cards, all these cards already exist. This is what Bandai's given us to work with. So we're just going to add on to that. I also did feel like it was necessary to give him a red Navy package, because right now it's kind of like Garp is a red-black leader, but the colors do nothing for each other. He doesn't benefit from the red at all. Yeah. So it makes sense just to give him red Navy cards. Yeah. Also, it makes it so that like if like we get any Navy leaders moving forward that are red, they'd have a card pool they can already dabble in.
The reason why I gave the Sengoku, the effect that he gives Dawn, because I think that's an identity of red that red doesn't abuse as much as it should, is is moving around the rest of Dawn.
I agree. A lot of these cards just moved Dawn at first, but it's like there's like 6 characters and like 4 of them moved to Dawn, so I was like, wait a minute.
Because then it becomes really cool, because then you can start doing like wacky shit. Like let's say your board is like 2 Cobys, two Cobys, a Borsalino, a Garp, right? And then then you drop the Sengoku, right?
Right.
So then you gave 1 to all of them, including your leader. And then the Coby is then going to give 1 more to the leader, or 1 more to whoever needs it. Well, 1 more to the Garp. So now the Garp has everything. But because you were able to give 5 out fully, to the leader and your 4 characters, you pop the 5 or less. Then your Garp character is now going to pop a 2 or less character because 1 Dawn was given to your leader, so now that went off. And then the Garp is then swinging for 11k, popping a 2 cost. The Borsalino is now active, and then like it's just cool. It's just cool little things like that.
Yeah. So the Garp wouldn't even be popping a 2 cost.
Yeah, he would. KO to one of your. Oh my bad. You know, I think maybe a bit better. Instead of making the 10 drops on Goku, that gives and then pops. Mm-hmm. Make it like a 5-5-1k. Or or like a 5-5-2k. But on play, target up to 3 characters on the board, mm-hmm. and you can give them rested Dawn. I
do like that. Okay. Yeah, no, I like it a lot
and you can make it like, oh no, my bad. You can make it an activate main.
Yeah, no, I do like that. At first I was kind of concerned when you said on 5. I was like, he's a 5 that's gonna move 5 Dawn. He's just gonna refund himself. No. When you said 3 is on board.
Yeah, I would wish there was a like a Suru red card, maybe another 2k, and that one could also did something across, like, I don't want it to minus because then it's just the red Suru that minuses. So why not just play the black one? But like her devil fruit power is just like the laundry thing, right?
Right.
And it makes people hopeless at that point. I think with the Suru, you know what the Suru could be?
What?
It'll be kind of dope. It's make it that the Suru pops, but it has to be a 0.
So you know what started is, funnily enough, I created that card initially, except it wasn't Suru, it was Sakazuki before I when I say I these cards went through multiple different iterations. So yeah. Sakazuki started as Sakazuki was a 2 cost 0 power character that popped to 0 on play. That was literally his effect. It was literally exactly that. And then for some reason, the more I thought, at first I felt like that might be broken for there to be a 2k that just pops. So that's how I ended up coming up with the 2 cost event. My power outclasses yours. Yeah. It's literally that effect. It's literally that effect, but moved to an event.
Yeah. So
that because I was kind of looking at, I was like, isn't that kind of just like Houndblaze on a 2k, which is, I mean, without the pump, right? But what
I'm a fan. So it kind of goes to the it's kind of like the copium theory. And if you don't know about the copium theory, I'm gonna drop some knowledge on you.
Drop some knowledge.
So what it is is that you read 2 cards and you're like, yo, you know who does this really good? Garp. And then you're like, it works so good with Garp, I'm gonna make it work with Garp, knowing that other decks are gonna take better use of it, but the copium is strong. Now, sometimes you gotta take some cope to find the truth, you know? Like you have to go where no man has gone before. And this could be it. This could be the way Garp enters the meta. Alrighty? There's some crazy copium people in the East, and you're probably just the first person in the West that's like, you know what? Garp is out to play.
Garp's out to play.
he's out to play, my boy.
Any closing thoughts before we wrap this one up, Manny? Maybe a leader you'd like to see done next, you know?
The one leader I would like to maybe cook something up with is either Marco or like kind of how we were talking about before this. I think there's something, at least for this format, with Red Black Sabo. For particularly this format, the format we're currently in, because Sabo is considered best deck, and
Sabo's
then yellow.
Best deck.
I mean not Sabo, Lucci. Lucci is best deck, and this is just a meta call. This is just saying I'm playing to the odds that I will play against a Lucci, and I will beat every single Lucci, and I will admit I lose to everything else.
I think it's Black Yellow Luffy, but I think because I think it also holds true there too, though, because they can't just pop your stuff for the same reasons that Lucci can't.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is also. I mean, you still get fucking wrecked by red purple law, but.
Well, but that's the reason why I'm saying like you're playing to the odds of 2 out of 3 of the decks.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that what helps at least Sabo with his black yellow Luffy matchup is that he has an unblockable card in archetype that he can search.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That comes out of life.
The big dude with the beard and hat or whatever.
Well, he has a mini skirt, but yes.
Does he?
Yes. He's mad. He gets mad because he's a giant, so people have to look at him, like look up at him. But then he gets mad. He gets mad because they're looking up his skirt.
Yeah.
And they call them all he calls them all perverts.
I see. Well, that's lore I don't really care to know, and I'm very upset that I do know it now.
Yeah, I'm literally I'm looking at him right now. It's Morley, 3 cost 5k. When attacking, if this character has 7,000 power or more, your opponent cannot activate blocker. And he has a trigger that if you have a multicolored leader, which is what you're playing, you could just play him. Trash one, play him.
Yeah, I mean, I do remember the card existing because I remember like maybe a month ago I also was trying to cook on Sabo but I didn't last nearly as long as Laura. I think I played him for like an hour before I dropped him.
Well, yeah, but I'm just throwing it out there for the sheer fact that like that'll just be a deck that I think would be fun to try.
With that being said, then until next time, we'll see you guys.
Bye y'all.